everyone, welcome. This is Joe Ribello for the Dartmouth Council on Aging, and we're here going over our second section of everyday gestures that will save your life, self-defense for seniors. In our first episode, we went and discussed the various aspects of defensive action, specifically how to defend yourself against someone trying to grab you or hold you or restrain you, and also how to use basic fundamental defensive actions. And again, the key ingredient about our seminar and our class is the fact that these are everyday gestures, meaning they are things you do every single day of your life. So you can't help but practice. That's the beauty of the art. Today I'm going to be representing Kempo International. That is an international organization I'm affiliated with. I am the USA Vice President of the organization. Kempo, which actually comes from the Chinese term chuanfa, the Okinawan term kenpo, the Japanese term kempo, and also the Korean term kwanbop. It means the law of the fist. And what it means that everything your fist or any other natural weapon or natural defense part of your body you use to defend yourself or attack someone from harming you has a law, a natural law that governs it. We'll address some of those natural laws as we go through our course today. Now, as I mentioned before, like the yin and yang, for every move, theory, concept, principle, or definition, there's an opposite and a reverse. And we'll talk about some of those aspects today. Now, the first thing we're going to go into, last class, we talked about some natural gestures, waving hello. And sometimes you see someone far away, you bring your hand higher to wave hello. We also talked about checking our watch. What time is it? What time is it? Well, we also talked about the element of using it defensively and offensively. And today, we're going to talk about these two natural weapons and a couple more as well. And the first one we're going to talk about are elbows. Ribello's law of martial sophistication. Any sophisticated form of martial arts has extensive use of elbows. It's a hard, sharp, bony surface. Now, again, the other thing you have to be concerned is that little funny bone underneath. And for my friends and students who have worked in nunchaku, or some common people say chucks, and they've clocked themselves in that little bone and their fingers go numb, and they'll never forget that that's not a very funny place to have a funny bone. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the main hard, sharp, bony point of the elbow. So we're going to show you different ways that you can utilize this. First one we're going to go over, we went over this last class, I'm going to review it today, is what? Brushing your hair. Okay, maybe I don't have a lot of it. I understand that, you know. As my instructor once said to another gentleman, another Joe Palazzo, he says, "Joe, you're not losing hair, you're gaining face." So I go to reach and I find I have more face than I had before. Brushing my hair, brushing my hand up. And notice how my elbow is pointing straight ahead. And, or to quote that great master of the martial arts, Peanut the Woozle for Jeff Dunham, meow, meow. Meow. Right? Brushing your hair. Well, originally we taught if someone grabs our wrist to escape it by brushing our hair. Now we're going to be offensive. Now, we just bring that elbow straight up, pointing directly toward our opponent. And again, there are several areas you can strike the person with this, notably under the point of the chin, driving their head back. So from the side, when you strike them with that upward elbow, you're knocking their head back. And again, the beauty of this, especially in the arts of Kempo that I teach, your opponent should say at the end of the fight, an important phrase, "I never saw what hit me." Or they have to look at somebody else and go, "What did he hit me with? I never saw it." So when we hit with that elbow, obviously with my head in this position, well, the one place I can't see is down. You know, again, there's a classic phrase they have, that guy can't see beyond his own nose. What's that mean? Well, if you stand straight ahead and put your head straight ahead and only look down with your eyes, you normally can only see about the point of your nose. In my case, I see a little bit of my mustache, but again, that's the point, that celestial deity, in its infinite wisdom, gave us the ability to do what? This. To turn our head down. So obviously when we hit the person by brushing our hair, we want to stop them from having the ability to look down. Also, when I strike them up under the chin with my elbow, obviously it's going to knock their head back and also will cause them many times to backpedal or be knocked away from you. Remember, the first goal of self-defense for you as an individual is escape. I want to get away from that person attacking me. So many times, these simple natural weapons that we're going to use, our everyday gestures, can knock that opponent away. And that may buy me enough time to get into my home or get into my car or to get into a public area where someone else may be able to help me. Maybe a crowd, maybe not. We're talking about crowded restaurant. We're in the middle of COVID. What's a crowded restaurant these days, right? But to find some place where there are other people. And again, another important feature that I mentioned, when you're getting attacked, if you scream, help, help, you know, a lot of people, and especially in our today's society, they either want to do one or two things. They either want to move away, I don't want to be involved, or what else will they do? In today's society, they'll record it on their cell phone for YouTube or Facebook or some other social media. Oh, isn't that terrible? Isn't that horrible? Aren't you going to help out? Oh, no, I'm just going to record. Again, so I always tell people, don't yell help. Yell fire. You know, you run into a place, say, somebody's car is on fire. Everybody looks at you. Is that my car? I got to go look. Now you're the center of attention. So whoever was attacking you doesn't want to be the center of attention. They want a victim. So this enables you to get that time to get people paying attention to you and getting the safety around others. So we talked about that upward elbow, brushing your hair. The second one we do is, and again, here's an important ingredient we'll work on. Well, let's talk about it now briefly. We have an incredible ability, even as we all get older, to do what? Walk. Okay, we may not walk as quickly as we did before, but we can still walk. Can you take one step? Can you take one step? Suddenly you're doing the martial arts version of the hokey pokey. I put my right foot in, I put my right foot out, I put my left foot in, I put my left foot out, and I shake them all about, right? We're going to show that in a little bit too. But again, your ability to take a simple step. Step forward, brush your hair. Step back. Step forward, brush your hair. Step back. Now, and again, there are many martial art stances. We have our horse stance and our cat stance and various stances based on animals and based on weight distributions. But for now, we just want to give you the basic concept of just being able to move forward, move back. Move forward, move back. Suddenly you're doing line dancing. So that's with the upward elbow or brushing your hair. The next one we talked about is what? Checking your watch. Checking your watch. Person grabs my wrist, I escape by checking my watch. But now they're attacking me. Maybe they're threatening me. Maybe they're saying they're going to beat me or they're going to drag me into a dark alley. Or if I'm male, maybe they're saying they're going to attack my wife or harm my children or kick my dog. Don't mess with my dog, right? So the key ingredient is that sometimes you have to use an offensive action in a defensive situation. And a lot of times, like I said, you know, a great martial artist, Bill Superfoot Wallace, told me a great phrase. He says, pain can ruin your whole day. Now, many of us, as we get older, we have to deal with pain. You know, we sit there some days and say, wow, you know, if I'm not in any pain, I don't know if I'm still alive, because every day I've got some sort of pain. My feet hurt, or my joints hurt. I know it's going to rain because my joints are aching, etc. But we want to cause that pain to our opponent, and pain is the great dissuader. Ow, that hurt. What do? We pull our hands back in. We pull away from where we feel pain. So now I'm just going to check my watch. Check my watch. What time is it? What time is it? Now I'm going to add in that ingredient, stepping forward. I'm going to step in, check my watch. And that's going to strike the person, hit them in the side of the face, the jawline. You can also do a lowercase action, hit them in the floating ribs. You could hit them in the chest, the sternum, opposite foot, opposite hand. We'll get into that in a moment. But learning, again, how I keep my hand in close so they don't grab my hand, and I pull my arm up. like I'm checking my watch. And again, as we go older, we may have to bring that watch a lot closer so we see what time it is. But the same action is still adhered to. So from a side view, I step in, pow, strike with my elbow. I step in, pow, strike with my elbow. I check my watch. I check my watch. What if my hands are down? I can still check my watch with my hands being down. I check my watch. Again, hitting with that hard, sharp, bony protuberance. I always love to quote another great master of martial arts, Frank Zappa. Again, that bony, sharp protuberance at the bend of our elbow, striking with our elbow. And again, another aspect we can also utilize, we're going to do an inward elbow, is called a sandwiching elbow. Now, if you take your hands and go, hey, clapping your hands, well, guess what? You're going to clap your elbow. Yay! It's a sandwiching elbow. Piece of bread, meat in the middle. And at that point, you can grab your opponent's face, pull them close to you. So ladies, especially, it's a great way to lull your opponent in false sense of confidence. You pull them and say, oh, I know what you want. Come here. Hi, how are you? Wham! Sandwiching elbow.
And that's how the perfect night.
So when we practice this now, we step forward. And when we clap with our hands, we clap in a vertical position. Well, the opposite of vertical is horizontal. So now that hand is horizontal. I grab, again, when you use a brace, you're grabbing his head as a brace and using that bracing angle with your sandwiching elbow. Remember, when you use a brace, it keeps his face from flying off into space. So again, we step in, sandwiching elbow, and back. Step in, sandwiching elbow, and back. We can do it in place first. I'm slapping my hands just to coordinate and synchronize action. Clap, hit, clap, 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 clap. Wow, sounds like an advertisement for the old clapper. Remember that? The clapper. Clap on, clap off. The clap. Pow. From a side view, we simply step in, sandwiching elbow. Step in, sandwiching elbow. Step in, check your watch. Check your watch. Check watch, my elbow itches. And there you have it. So that's the inward elbow. Some people call it a roundhouse elbow because of the circular motion. Certain styles of martial arts will really make a big deal about it. What I mean by that, they'll really swing their arm in a big circle in and swing out. We're going to talk about that now with the outward elbow. The opposite of in is out. The opposite of a circular motion is a linear action. Two basic paths of motion, linear and circular, or methods of execution later on. So these are paths of motion. Things either move in a line or a circle. So the opposite of moving in is moving out. The opposite of a circle is a line. So now I check my watch, I hit out to the side. I check my watch, I hit out to the side. Now people say, well, what's this? So now I'm just resting. I'm just relaxing. I'm just leaning on a post. I'm just leaning, relaxing. Leaning, relaxing. I know I got nothing to lean or relax on right now. But again, I'm just resting. I'm just relaxing. If you remember from our last class, we talked about the outside arm bar. And we talked about one called the old man's arm bar. And you rest your bent elbow on top of their elbow. Rest. A little additional leverage. But now we're going to take our hand and we're going to pledge allegiance to the fact, I'm going to hit you. I pledge allegiance to the flag, leave me alone. Palm across, out. Hand across open, closed. The opposite of open is closed. The opposite of our hand being open on a vertical line is closed on a horizontal line. Ooh, fascinating. So, you pledge allegiance, you hit him. You pledge allegiance, you strike with your elbow. Now again, when we strike, there's many different targets we can utilize. I'm always reminded of those classic specialist doctors. You know, eyes, ears, nose, throat. Well, those are some of the vital points that we can strike. I can elbow someone in the eye. I can elbow someone right in the bridge of their nose. Remember the broken nose? I can elbow them directly in the throat. These actions to these points, these vital points, are obvious dissuaders. You hit a guy in the eye, ah! You strike him directly into the nose,
I broke my nose.
you hit him in the throat, I'm choking. Remember, as human beings, our hands gravitate to where we feel pain. So if we strike them with a hard, sharp, bony surface, again, to those vital targets, it causes them to be dissuaded from attacking us again. A little Johnny, a little Susie, when they're baby, don't touch the flame, it's hot. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. I don't want to feel it. Ow! Right? They feel the pain and they realize it's something they don't want to do because of the pain associated with it. So these vital strikes to these everyday gestures, to these vital targets, will cause you to dissuade your opponent. That's the key. So again, we talked about the outward elbow. So again, if I'm standing here sideways, hi. Can't see that? See this? That's the key. So that's the outward elbow. I pledge allegiance to the fact I'm going to hit the guy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of I hit you. Now, so we've got upward. We've got inward. We've got out. Hey, you know we talked about inward and outward, right? And we talked about sometimes certain systems of Kempo do like a windshield wiper action. You know windshield wiper, right? Well, that's vertical. What about if it was horizontal? What if instead of our hand, it was our elbow? Circle in, circle out. Circle in, circle out, right? The opposite of a line is a circle. The opposite, linear is circular. So I can do a circular inward elbow. I can do a circular outward elbow. Again, I strike the person in the face, knocking their face away. Remember, you can't hit what you can't see. So if you move your opponent's body in such a way that they can't see you, it's far more difficult for them to hit you or attack you. That's the key. So again, I can step in, I can circle in, I could circle out. I could circle in, I could circle out. Hey, by the same token, like we just did before, I can circle in and go in a straight line out. Where circular moves end, linear moves begin. And where linear moves end, we'll learn later, circular moves begin. We'll go over that momentarily. So, we've learned upward, we've learned inward, we've learned outward. What's the opposite of up? Down. Really amazing. Okay, so I go to reach up. I don't know. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. My elbow drops down. The classic phrase, what goes up must come down. Now, there are a couple ways we can do that. We can open up our hand and leave our hand, just drop our arm straight down. Or if we want to add in rotational torque, the circular force of nature, then what we would do, we'd bring our hand up and we torque our hand down. Our hand comes up. What goes up must come down. Spinning wheel. Remember the song? So you're going to bring your hand up open, but now the opposite of open is what? Closed. So now I'm going to open my hand, I'm going to close my fist. Open my hand, close my fist. Now, a person might be reaching up behind me to grab me in a bear hug. Again, many times there are larger, bigger, stronger individuals than us, especially as we get older, so we have to be more concerned about someone literally carrying us off. Oh, this big brute, he came up behind me, grabbed me around the waist, picked me up, and started to drag me off. Not entirely implausible. So what do? Remember that aforementioned horse stance? I'm going to brush my hands up and tell them I'm going to find religion. Hallelujah! Elbow. And you're going to hit them right on the radial nerve. This is a nerve that lays diagonally across your radial bone. It literally is the nerve that tells you that your arm is broken. If you break your radial bone, again, the pain in this nerve lets you know you broke something important. But what we're going to do, we're just going to bring our hands up, and we're going to bring our hands up nice and high. Hallelujah! That's how Elvis Presley used to say hallelujah when he was a child in church. And I'm going to turn my hands in, close my fist, and pow, right on those radial bones, right on those forearms. He didn't move the first time, that's okay. You hit him before and you can hit him again. That's the beauty. Strike a person more than once. You go to the buffet more than once for good stuff, why don't you strike him for bad stuff more than once? Dissuades him a lot faster, won't it? You bet. So now from a side view, I bring my hand up, elbow down. Hand up, elbow down. Hand up, reaching for that item at the top of the closet and pull it down. Or I do this and I do a chin up. Or I'm really happy about something. And what do? Yes. Right? Yes. Same action. That's the beauty of the art. Things we do, what? Every day of our life. So that's downward. Hey, could I step forward with downward? Sure. I step up, I drop down. 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 Looks like a cheerleading routine, right? So again, you shoot your hand up to go down. That's the key. And again, this can be used not only against grabs, a person's trying to do an uppercut punch, drop your elbow right on his hand. Pow, ow. Pow, right on the hand. One of my instructors, Dan Inosanto, he's doing a seminar, and they would teach about martial arts and teaching the side kick. And what Dan would do, he'd cup the guy's foot sideways. They came with the side kick underneath and bang, drop the elbow right on his ankle. Imagine hitting somebody in the ankle with this. Or how about on the top of their instep if they tried to kick you, right? Drive that right into their foot. Again, learning how to be offensive and utilizing these in an attacking action. Remember, let's quote another great master of the martial arts, Vince Lombardi. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. That's the key. So we're talking elbows, right? Up, down, in, out. Hey, could I put all four of these together? Let me think. Up, down, in, out. Ooh, hey, suddenly I find religion, right? Up or up, down, in, out. Right? This was a circular upward action. This was a linear downward action. So I go up, down, in, out. Get up and try it. You can be sitting in your chair and practice that. Brush your hair, up, down, in, check your watch, and across out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Could I hit someone, hit them up under the chin, elbow them in the chest, hit them in the side of the head, and then strike them in the nose or eye or throat? You bet I could. So again, up to the chin, down to the chest, into the side of the jaw, out to the eye, nose, or throat. And again, hokey pokey. Step in right, down, in, out. Step back, left foot in, up, down, in, out. Right foot, up, down, in, out. And left foot, up, down, in, and of course, out. Another important feature we talk about Kempo is called the button and the lever. And we have elbows. Another important point for our lower extremities is our knees. We're going to move back a little bit, and we want to see our knees. Now, simply stated, can you walk up a stair? Sometimes as they get older, I might have to do it a little bit slower. In one of the other martial arts disciplines I study called Nindo-Ryu, we say knees are for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Put your hand here, touch your knee. Put your hand here, touch your knee. Now again, even if you're on a cane, you can still use that cane for additional support and just bring your knee up. The closer you are in proximity to your opponent, the less likely they are to see you knee them in the groin, the front of the thigh, the side of the thigh, the back of the thigh, the inside of the thigh. And all I'm doing, I didn't mean it. You grab me, you pull me forward. Oops. Knee 'em. They grab you, pull you forward. Whoops. Knee 'em. From a side view, take a step. Take a step. Take a step. We have a button and a lever. The button is the elbow, the lever is the foot. The button is the lever, the button and the lever. The button is the knee, the lever is the leg. The button is the knee, the lever is the leg. Now again, we're wearing footwear. So I'm not going to be as specific as pulling back your toes and pointing your instep down, isolating with the ball of the foot. No, I kick them with the toes. If you got a decent pair of sneakers or you've got those beautiful pointy stiletto shoes, you know, you take that and you drive it right into their shin. Bring your knee up, kick them in the shin. Shake your foot out. Shake your foot out. Back to the hokey pokey. Right? You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. Just pick your knee up. Shake it out. Pick your knee up. Shake it out. You kick on the person a couple times in the shins and suddenly they start to backpedal. It hurts. You're kicking a hard bony area with a shoe that has no give. It's like sticking somebody with a knife in the foot or the leg. So again, just shake it out. Whack. Pick it up, shake it out. Doesn't have to be high. Unless your opponent's Magilla Gorilla, if you remember that cartoon, and his knuckles are dragging on the floor, he's not going to be able to reach all the way down to his lower legs to protect himself. That's the key. So with the button and the lever, we want to take all our buttons, our elbows, and we want to add a lever to it. So I elbow up, I hammer down. I elbow up, brushing my hair, and I hammer down. I use the hammer of my fist. Again, you may not want to punch someone unless you've developed that weapon, but a hammer fist, you close it tight. Elbow up, hammer down. Elbow up, hammer down. All we have to do is add in a step. Step in, hammer. Step in, elbow up, hammer down. Now, by the same token, we did our inward elbow, right? Inward elbow, hammer. Inward elbow, hammer out. Elbow in a circle, hammer out. By the same token, we do out, elbow out, hammer out. Elbow out, hammer out. And you can practice this on your own. Elbow out, hammer out. Down. Elbow down, hammer down. Elbow down, hammer down. Elbow down, vertical position, hammer down. Again, hammering down. Now you say, when would that be used, right? A person grabs you, I knee him in the groin, and go, oh, okay, while your head's down there, elbow down, hammer down on the spine. I knee you in the groin, oh, pull the head down, elbow. And again, instead of the straight line, I can make it a circular downward elbow, and then hit with the hammer. Circular elbow, hit with the hammer. So again, the opposite of a closed fist is an open hand. I can elbow up. I can chop. I can elbow up. If I want to be passive, I just use an open palm. Stop that. Elbow up, stop that. I hit him right in the bridge of the nose and into the face, raking with my fingers or just slapping the head down. And again, same thing. Inward, chop. Inward, backhand, slapping with the back of your hand. Hey, I'm gonna. Elbowing in, slapping out, elbowing in, slapping out. How about outward? Outward out, slap out, outward out, slap out. And we're striking with the back of our hand. I'll backhand you, right? Again, for some of us have ethnic backgrounds of parents. If we did something wrong, yeah, I'll give you a backhander. All these various actions work off that same motion. Dropping your elbow, chopping down. And there you have it. So that's our next level. Just teaching you some basic offensive actions. The elbow, an incredibly powerful, dynamic, hard, bony surface, that pointed protuberance that will help you enable yourself to defend yourself, utilizing everyday gestures that'll save your life. Well, I'm Joe Ribello on behalf of the Dartmouth Council on Aging and Kempo International, thanking you for taking the time to watch this program. I hope I've been of some benefit to you. I hope I've been of some service. And I hope that you've gotten something out of learning more about everyday gestures that'll save your life. Self-defense for seniors. Until next time and our next show, this is Joe Ribello saying to all of you, keep training.